Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and as you guys can see, I've torn Vivian down a little bit to get this bolt carrier group out, and notice, by the way, how dirty all that muzzle and even the handguard is just from shooting 160 rounds after I fully cleaned her the other day. And I want to talk with you guys about that briefly because I had said before there were signs you could look for to see that your loads might be too low of a pressure. Now obviously I've got some of these primers I pulled out. I might need to do a separate video showing you guys the primers of how rounded they still are after shooting. I don't know if you guys can see that properly there. Some of the spent primers, you notice they have that completely round edge still with no deformation even after firing. And I was using Ramshot Tack, which is a ball powder, which is normally considered to be a very clean burning powder. But one of the things I noticed last time is there was a lot of buildup in dirt, even on my nickel boron Fail Zero bolt carrier group. Now I'm going to take this apart for you guys, and I'm predicting it's going to be as dirty as last time because we put around 160 rounds through it. The first day on this rifle, I completely cleaned everything, and there was a lot of carbon buildup and a lot of smoke off of this with a clean burning ball powder. You know, normally a very clean burning powder, and it's probably going to be the same again. I don't know if it's going to be better or worse than last time, but let me take this apart and let's actually see how it looks. Get this pin out. All right, the pin is definitely filthy, and again, this pin was completely clean when we started, and all this nickel boron is looking pretty dirty too. And this, again, only 160 rounds through a rifle that's been completely cleaned. And, yeah, we're looking pretty dirty here. Okay, if you look at just the amount of stuff on here that needs to be cleaned off now, again, very, very dirty. I don't know if you guys can tell how thick some of that buildup is. I had to scrub that stuff off with a brush last time. It doesn't look quite as bad, but it's still a pretty heavy buildup. Catch the bolt face there. That's not so bad. It's mainly just all of this around where the gases are blowing back into. And again, you guys can see the bolt carrier group, get an idea. Again, this is a fairly small number of rounds being fired that caused this. Again, 160 is not a tremendous amount to shoot through an AR, particularly with a cleaner burning powder. So what's going on here? Well, apparently my 25.3 grains of Ramshot Tack is still very low pressure. Even for this new rifle, which isn't even fully broke in, the pressures are a little low. And the reason that can happen sometimes is that by having the pressure too low, the reason things will get dirtier is because it's not having as complete of powder burn early on. The powder is burning later down the barrel because the pressures aren't high enough. And again, I'm using a moderately fast powder, even for weight, even for caliber. But because the pressures are still too low, I'm not getting a fast enough initial burn, so it leaves it a little dirtier. So even with this mid-length gas system, which you guys can see there that it is mid-length, it's pretty far down, it's still getting a lot of debris coming back through. That's half burned powder that's still burning quite a bit as it's coming back down. And I notice she spits a lot of fire, which you guys might have noticed on the two shooting videos that I did. She's definitely spitting a lot of fire. So we're having a lot of partially burned powder. Even by the time the bullet exits, a lot of partially burned powder coming down the gas tube. And the best thing I can do here, again, looking at these primers, my pressure is not really even ideal yet. It's below average, way below a lot of factory 5.56 NATO. I need to increase my loads. I need to add more gunpowder, basically. And I'm hoping we're going to experiment with this. I'm not going to make any promises. We're going to experiment and see if I'm right. Because this level of dirt, again, a lot of people say, well, it doesn't seem that bad. Well, you guys might be using dirty powders, and you're more used to carbon or carbine length gas systems, and so you're used to that it being dirtier. A mid-length or a rifle length should actually be cleaner back here in the bolt carrier because again you don't get overgassed as much. You have more burn time for the powder before it reaches the actual hole in the barrel to come down the gas tube, and then it has a longer travel back down the gas tube. So in theory, you shouldn't get nearly as much just buildup and gunk and get these bolt carriers dirty. So I'm really glad I have a nickel boron because it's made cleaning it a lot easier for me. It's made my life easier there. But it's still pretty dirty. And I'm really hoping we can fix this by changing the load data. And I'm thinking if I bump the load data up a little bit, maybe go up to like around 26.5 instead of 25.3, I definitely have the pressure to work with to get there. That should be able to do so safely. So that's what I'm going to do hopefully this coming week before we shoot. And let's see if we come out with a cleaner bolt carrier group as a result of it. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.